Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit True of My Chest and it's by user Live Long and Profit. My best friend died and now I'm rethinking my relationship with my girlfriend. Hi, I, 41 male, have a daughter, 13 female, who is the light of my life. Her mother passed during childbirth. For the past decade I've tried dating but with disastrous results. A year before my daughter, call her Stephanie, was born, my wife, Joy, bought me a border collie pup who I named Flip. Somehow, it was Flip who managed to keep me sane the first 2 years after my wife's death. He was my best friend. He guarded Stephanie and protected her like he was an extra dad. And Step loved Flip so much. Every vacation, every trip, she insisted on bringing Flip and, of course, that was more than okay with me. Last year, I finally struck gold. I met Donna, 39 female, who helped fill the void in my life with Joy's passing. She is warm, kind, and intelligent. She took to Stephanie like a champ, and even though she doesn't like dogs, Flip won her over. Everything was looking up. Donna moved into my house a month ago. Then, Flip developed cancer, and I had to take him to the vet to be put down. I'm not ashamed to say I cried almost the entire day. Stephanie too, she's devastated. When I told Donna, she said, "Oh well, time to get a cat now so we can both enjoy a pet." What the F? I couldn't believe what I heard. I told her my best friend died and she's so damn dismissive. She replied that it's just an animal, no biggie. My heart shattered all over again. Of course, Steph heard the exchange and now doesn't want anything to do with Donna. Won't talk to her. I made up the guest room and told Donna she's sleeping there for a while. She got mad and is now not speaking to me. I'm thinking of breaking up with her because she can't see how much Flip meant to us. She seems unable to see that my emotions are valid. Flip was a dog, but more importantly, he was family. She can't see that. Right now, I'm heartbroken and exhausted, and I want to sleep for a whole week, but I needed to vent here. Thank you Reddit folks for reading. I appreciate you all. OP, I'm really sorry for your loss. Flip wasn't just a dog, he was family, your daughter's protector, and a link to the wife you lost. Losing him is huge, and the fact that Donna brushed it off like it was nothing, that's not just tone deaf, that's dismissive. People grieve differently and not everyone is a dog person, but the bare minimum of a good partner is compassion, and she couldn't even give you that. The fact that she immediately made Flip's death about what she wanted instead of supporting you and your daughter is a massive red flag. I think you already know what you need to do. Also, your daughter is watching how you handled this. You've already set a boundary by making Donna sleep in the guest room, which was the right move. Now I think you should take a step back and ask yourself, is this the kind of person I want as a permanent part of my life? And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Treehorn8 says, "What the F? Even if Donna isn't emotionally bonded to Flip, it doesn't excuse her being cold-hearted and dismissive about it. She should be concerned that the people she loves are upset and hurting, instead of talking about another pet that you and Stephanie are not ready for, knowing that you're deeply grieving Flip. In my opinion, this is a breakup worthy for me. Pets are family, not just possessions, but this is all up to you if you think couples counseling can still help." Seriously though, if she can't be kind about you and your daughter grieving, I wonder how she would react whenever other tragic occasions happen to your family. Specialist Bit 283 says, "Why would she want to get a cat with a mindset like this? It's just an animal, no biggie. Says no cat lover ever. She's a fraud." And OP responds, "I really don't know what the F to think. Not in any sort of headspace for rational decisions." Similar Corner 8081 says, "Break up with her. I put my cat to sleep in 2019. My dad died in 2001 and his name was James Riley. I named my cat Riley, and when he was put to sleep, I went and had his picture tattooed on my arm. I can't be with someone who says it's just a cat or it's just a dog. My goodness no, pets are family. I'm sorry for the loss of your best friend. Sending hugs." Zeoxius says, biggest red flag I ignored with the worst relationship of my life was her cold, callous disregard for animal life. Lily, you sucked. When people show you who they really are, believe them. Well, the community is telling OP that this is a massive red flag and that he should just try to move on from the relationship. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hey, I'm more than stunned by how this thing took off. Thanks to all the well-wishers and those who messaged for their words of support. It means a lot. For those crying fake, I hear you and understand. A lot on Reddit seems to be BS. Thanks to all who thought to reply for both the positive and negative input. So I went to work for the overnight shift and my partner, Tanya, worked with for 4 years, had a present for me. A small chocolate cake shaped like a dog bone and Flip's name on it. I just about lost it. Tanya is the best and a great co-worker. Her husband is a good friend too. We talked and I showed her the post. She's no fan of Reddit but understands that I needed to vent. After work, I picked Steph up from school and we had a long talk in the car. I told her I was going to talk to Donna about how her words hurt us and asked if she wanted to be a part of the conversation. She said no, but added that she trusted me to make the correct decision. My kid is awesome. So I sat Donna down after she came home and we had a heart-to-heart talk. She grew defensive and almost got up and left, but I told her if we couldn't talk this out, there was no future for us. Then I showed her the post. As she read the comments, she started to cry. After a few minutes, we talked, and it came out that she considered Flip to be part of my old life that I had with Joy, and that with his passing, I could focus on our relationship more. To be honest, I almost lost my poop right there, but managed to stay calm. I remembered that anger is a secondary emotion indicative of deeper trauma, so I kept that in mind during the conversation. I told her that Joy and Flip will always be part of my life, just like Stephanie, and nothing can change that. I said that they are part of me and helped shape the man I am today. If she can't recognize that, understand my pain and feel empathy, then this relationship is doomed. To make a long story short, she's moving out and we are taking a break from each other for a month or two to reflect on our priorities. Not that I needed that. I know my priorities, my needs, and wants for a relationship. She must decide if it coincides with her. That's it. It's late and I'm bushed, not working tomorrow, so I'm going to help Donna pack things. Thank you so much for your support, folks. To all those animal lovers out there, always trust your heart and may God bless and keep you. Well, OP, the truth is revealed. Flip was part of your old life. Good thing you're getting out of that relationship. You've dodged a bullet. I mean, I can see her then trying to ice out Stephanie at some point if you guys were ever to have kids, or even if you didn't. But again, it's a good thing you're out of there. So here's wishing you and Stephanie the best in the future, OP. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user OneConfusedMan99. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepson he shouldn't have been surprised when his sister didn't invite him to her get-together? Hello, I have been married to my wife for 8 years. She has 2 kids, twins, who I'll call Jane and John, 16, from a previous relationship. When the kids first moved in, it was a bit tense. They weren't fond of me and tried to avoid me. Over time, Jane warmed up to me, and 2 years ago, she started referring to me as Dad. John, however, has not warmed up to me, and I'm fine with that. I would love to have a closer relationship though. It's a bit of a struggle, since if I don't do or give him what he wants, it's because I'm punishing him for not calling me Dad. If I try to talk or offer him something, it's because I'm trying to replace his father. I wish he'd see that's not the case, but I know that'll take some time. Jane calling me Dad has strained the twins' relationship. John no longer refers to Jane as his twin sister. Either it's as his half-sister or stepsister. When it comes to birthdays, their mother splits it into 2 days so both of them have a day for themselves. John does not want Jane around on his day. I know this hurts Jane. They weren't close as siblings, but they still had a relationship. Recently, Jane hosted a small get-together in our backyard. Some of the people invited also know John, but not as close with him as they are with Jane. John found out, and after it ended, argued with Jane about it. John was not invited because he has never accepted any invites his sister has given him, and when she asks him questions, he ignores her. Jane told him as such. John argued that some invited were his friends, so he should have been invited. But he's never accepted the other time his friends were there. So I told John that he shouldn't have been surprised he wasn't invited with how he has acted in the past. This made him more upset. I think I overstepped the line, but my wife and Jane are on my side. Am I the a-hole? No, OP, you weren't the a-hole and you have nothing to feel guilty about. You didn't overstep, you didn't attack John, and you didn't exclude him. He did that to himself. You just pointed out the reality of the situation, and the fact that he didn't like hearing it doesn't make you wrong. John has spent years pushing both of you and Jane away. He refuses to acknowledge you as a stepfather, which is fine, but now he's treating his own twin sister like a stranger, and that's not okay. He can't have it both ways. He can't reject Jane repeatedly and then suddenly demand inclusion when it's convenient for him. At some point, he needs to take responsibility for his own choices. You weren't punishing him, you weren't picking sides, and you weren't being unfair. You simply pointed out a pattern that he created. So if he's upset, it's on him to reflect and see what he does. But honestly, you just keep doing what you're doing, OP. You've got your wife and Jane's approval on how you've acted. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Lost All Doubt 86 says, not the a-hole. You pointed out how his behavior has consequences. You aren't forcing anyone to have a relationship with you. Jane had chosen to foster a relationship and John is behaving immaturely about it. I assume Jane is not trying to make her brother like you. And OP succinctly responds, she isn't. Lone Star Texas Tornado says, not the a-hole. He's learning that his behavior has consequences. Maybe you weren't the best person to point it out, but someone needed to. Overrise2524 says, not the a-hole. I think John wants it both ways. That's not how relationships work. He either puts in the time and effort and reaps the rewards, or he's a little a-hole and gets to miss out. And Realistic Head 4279 says, not the a-hole. I see nothing wrong in you trying to have a constructive conversation with John about the situation. You sound like a wise, patient guy. Stepchildren bring baggage that a stepdad often had no part in, so sometimes it feels personal when it is not. Sounds as if John is not happy no matter what is extended. Nothing can be done about the party that has happened, but I think if Jane tacks on something to the effect that now she knows he's interested in her parties, she will invite him next time. Then see how that plays out. OP's edit. I did have a talk with my wife. Her and Jane will go talk to John, just them three. Maybe they can try family therapy again, just them. John isn't a bad kid. He was kind with Jane and did put an effort into their relationship before Jane started calling me dad. They pretty much bonded over hating me when they first moved in, so I guess that set him off. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and there's a plan in place, so let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Short and simple update for my previous post. My wife and Jane did talk to John not long after my previous post. My wife's and I priority was the twins' relationship. They did have a good relationship before and it's changed a lot. They didn't talk to him at the same time. My wife talked to him first about family therapy and how he couldn't put any effort into his relationship with Jane, then expect anything from her. Jane then talked to him a little while later. He didn't want to hear anything from her then. 2 days ago, they had another talk. Don't know what was said, but it was enough for John to accept family therapy with her. He's just made it clear he still doesn't want anything to do with me, and for her to never bring me up around him. Jane has been much more happier now. They're out to the movies together now. Well, OP, hopefully family therapy with Jane is gonna help strengthen their relationship, and who knows, maybe in time he'll come around. But in the meantime, OP, here's wishing you the best. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now, let's continue with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user JacketJacketFruit. Complain about how I do my job? Cool, let's see how things go when I do it your way. I work as a school janitor. Half my day is spent in the lunchroom emptying the trash cans and sweeping up. At most schools, you get 15 plus minutes in between each lunch period to do all the cleaning. At my school, I get less than 2 minutes if I'm lucky. Normally, if a trash can isn't full, I just dump one can into another and then tie off that bag when it gets full. It's a lot faster than having to replace every bag every time, and it saves a ton of bags. I also sweep around the tables, and if I see a big mess under a table, I ask the kids to move their feet to sweep that up too. I do it this way because it's the only way to keep up and keep things clean. If I pulled every bag every time instead of dumping one can into another, not only would I run out of bags halfway through the week, but it would also take way longer. If I only swept under the tables when there was no kids sitting there, I would literally never have an opportunity to sweep under tables. Enter the lunch ladies. Most of them are nice, but there's this one older one who is just a miserable human being. She yells at everyone including the kids and is just always angry about something. Earlier this week, she yelled at me for dumping one trash can into another instead of pulling the bag. Why she chose today to do this, I don't know, since I'd been doing this every day for the past 3+ years. I know how to do my job and didn't ask her opinion, so I just ignored her, didn't say anything, and kept doing what I was doing. Fast forward an hour or two, and I'm getting a call from my district boss that there was a complaint filed against me. The lunch ladies are saying that they don't like that I dump cans instead of pulling bags, and they don't like that I sweep under the kids' feet. My boss tells me just stick to cleaning in between lunch periods. I tried to explain that that's literally a period of less than 2 minutes and isn't even a fifth of the amount of time I'd need to do it that way. He says just do it anyway to keep the lunch ladies happy. He's a good dude, but he's just trying to squash complaints and to keep them from going further. He says, from now on, I'm only to empty trash or sweep the floors in between lunches where there's no students in the cafeteria, and also I'm to pull the bags every time. No more dumping cans. Cue malicious compliance. Starting then, I only cleaned in between lunches when there was no kids. Of course, this is literally like a knife and a half, so I only had time to get to half the trash cans. And since I was replacing every bag instead of dumping cans, each can took longer. I didn't even have time to sweep at all. The trash cans I couldn't get to would fill up and overflow, and the kids don't care, they just pile trash on top. The floor got more and more covered in trash since I didn't have time to sweep at all. I did this for the rest of the week. The same bitchy lunch lady tried to scream at me to go empty the trash when I was standing there on Tuesday, but I explained. I was told by my boss that you guys didn't like me sweeping or emptying trash around the kids. So now I'm only allowed to do that when the cafeteria is empty. I'd love to go get that trash can, but there's kids eating lunch right now, so I'm not allowed. She tried to argue, but I just told her I'm following direct and explicit orders from my boss. There was nothing she could do. When the final lunch ended, I cleaned as much as I could before 2 p.m. and then stopped, as that was my lunch time and the union requires that we take our lunches at our allotted times. It's non-optimal and zero tolerance for deviation. And after my lunch, I have to go clean classrooms since school is out, and classrooms take priority over the cafeteria. End result, the cafeteria never got fully cleaned. When the lunch ladies came in on Monday and found it still half filthy, they went through the roof and complained to my boss. He called me in and I explained that I was just following orders, and the lunch ladies were the ones who asked I do things this way. Suffice to say, I was told to go back to doing it however I thought was best. You want to stick your nose in my business and tell me how to do my job? See how that turns out. Oh, and also, since then, I spent the rest of the week calling them out on all the things they were doing wrong. Previously, I just kept my mouth shut and minded my business, but now we're doing this the way you wanted. Door propped open because it's incredibly hot in the kitchen and you need the airflow? Sorry, that's a security issue. Doors cannot be propped open. Greasy wax paper in the cardboard recycling? Sorry, that can't go in there. Normally, I'd just grab it as I see it, but now I waited till the end of the day and then tell them. They had to pick it all out by hand. You guys like having the radio playing in the kitchen? Sorry, not allowed. Shut it down. Well, OP, they pushed you into doing things their way, and now you're just paying them back in kind. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.